Hey folks, Jake here at Walkie Farm, and we're at the Thaguna lease in the pig paddock. This paddock's about 5 acres and it's essentially had a continuous rolling mob of pigs rotating through it for almost 4 years now, sort of fluctuating between anywhere from 30 to 80 pigs. We get pigs delivered from a pastured producer up at a town called Cootamundra, and we have a set order with him for 40 piglets, 8-week weaners every 6 weeks, and then we try draft out tops every fortnight, send them off. These pigs are not from him. These sort of more fatty traditional pigs we got from someone else. They called us and had an oversupply, we did a deal. These sort of slicker muscled pigs here come from Jason up at Stock and Piggle. So these pigs are just absolutely sensational for pork production. Like look at the length on them and the muscle tone on them, just amazing. We've got them on a ad lib feed. We try to do weekly moves onto fresh pasture. Ad lib feed, it's a pellet, grain-based pellet. Oh, you guys are awesome, aren't you, hey? Hello. And then these other sort of old world back fatters, they almost look a bit wild boarish. We're processing them, they're slower growing. They're probably almost double the age of these. These ones are, well, they would be, they'd be at least double the age of these, so it shows you the efficiency difference. They're probably not gonna be around much longer. We're processing them getting, they don't suit themselves to ad lib feed. We're processing them getting very little muscle, a lot of fat. But that actually suits us better, folks, with our business model. We want to sell meat. We enjoy selling meat. We actually make more money out of the fat. Cooking lard, having a good old mung on the boot there, hey buddy? Cooking fat and the skin care that we do. Hey. Got some really basic structures up there. Bought a pipe bender, bent some pipes and bolted it all together with greenhouse connectors, actually. The pigs are just kept behind a single hot wire here. That's very hot, 10,000 kilovolt. We tried it, it's right next to the shed, so our Energizer Gallagher 10,000i unit comes straight out of the shed there, and it starts right here, so we're at the start of it around the property. This net is actually not hot. We don't turn it on, the grass is too long, it just shorts out all the time, but it's here as a visual aid. Pigs' eyesight's probably their poorest sense, and it's just here to help them. They always know that when they see that this isn't, the hot wire is not too far away, so it's just there to help them. You can see they're very tame, very friendly. They see people, people are only good things. There's food and water, fresh paddock, or loading pigs onto the trailer, and I'll show you how we do that. We'll be sending pigs again in a couple weeks. We'll be drafting out the tops here, but it's very low stress, very easy. I can set up the portable yards, load a dozen pigs, pack down the yards, all well under an hour. I'm normally fighting around, texting people and making Instagram videos, so it takes me an hour, but if I'm hustling and the pigs are cooperating and I set it up well, it's probably a 40-minute job. Hey, give me that bit of plastic, yeah, monkey. Give me, what are you gonna do with that plastic? Pigs are just great for pasture renovation because you got them on feed. You're importing a lot of nutrients to feed them. They eat a lot of grain. We sort of budget on a 4-to-1 feed conversion, so every 4 kilograms of feed they put on a kilo of body weight. Pig feed at the moment is costing us around 65 cents a kilo. The infrastructure for this mob, this is about 50 pigs at the moment. The infrastructure is just these couple sheds. We're using canola straw at the moment, and we bed it up a few times a week. They eat it too, so it doesn't last as long as it could, and that's just there to keep the frost off them, really. Come out here on a cold morning and the pigs are all huddled up and they're absolutely steaming. I tried to plant some shade in. I put these 2 years ago and they're alive. This is a Paulonia, and just the frost has got to that one. Its spring shoots come out, got a frost on it. You know, if they establish well, they're meant to grow 6 meters a year, but ours have just always struggled. Must be the wrong soil or we watered them a little bit in the beginning. You can see the last couple paddocks and the bare patches, like where their feeder was. They bear out around the feeder, where their beds are. That's so this is last paddock before that. So here we're almost a month ago, and this has recovered better. While they were there, it rained flat out, and we made the decision to actually hold them back a little bit and sacrifice it. It'll bounce back tremendously after a bit more rain. It always does. We hand broadcast out a multi-species cover crop. Try to do it the day before we move the pigs, help them trample it in a bit. We've had them on a crushed grain last 3 or 4 years, but we've recently changed mills for a couple reasons. But one of the big reasons is that this feed here, it's a pig ration, as we were getting from the other mill, but it's got meat meal in it. It's really quite hard to find feeds for your omnivorous animals, your pigs and your chickens, that have meat meal in it, because it's quite a challenge for these mills if they want to sell horse feed and things and feed to cattle feedlots. It's a lot easier for them just to keep everything vegetarian. But we found this mill, and I've used them once before. I was really happy with how the pigs did on it. They're omnivore, so it's appropriate. This is how we run water, guys. It makes a mess. Makes a mess in your paddock. If you want your paddock to look like a golf green, go start a golf course. Hey, there's one from the previous batch. You can see the size difference. So when we drafted out the last lot, obviously we didn't need it. But this IBC doesn't hold any water. It's just here as a structure. I'm currently welding up. This is an early prototype. I'm welding up something new at the moment, but it's just pig nipples. The flow's really a bit poor at the moment. Geez, nothing's coming out of that one. I'll have to go check the header tank. But it's just pig nipples onto air hose with a coupler. So that's a quick release coupler. And then that air hose is just gravity fed off that tank on top of the dam there. Really basic. So that, like I said, that doesn't hold any water. It's just a structure that we just tie these. Like, how much more primitive can you get? The prototype I'm building at home, it's all wrapped around with 100 by 50 RHS, and I've welded it all up so it'll be a bit sturdier. The pigs, they'll bite down on it and actually drain wallows, drain the water and build a wallow. And guys, if you're gonna have pigs in your pasture, especially in a climate like Australia, especially in a paddock without trees in it, they deserve a wallow. They use it to maintain hygiene. They'll bed down in the wallow and they'll suffocate ticks and fleas. We don't have ticks here, but you know, any sort of blood-sucking parasites, they'll suffocate them out. They'll cool themselves. They'll put a mud bath sunscreen on and protect themselves from sunburn. It's just good for them. And the wallows actually end up bouncing back being some of the best pasture on the farm. It's just you've got a hole now. And if you're a plower, normally the people that love flat paddocks plow. You know, they're obsessed about it. And if you're a plower, you can always plow flat again anyway, right? So there's a wallow from the last rotation, and you can see it hasn't vegetated. We've got cattle in this paddock at the moment. This feed was all up here. We just crashed this in the last sort of 3 or 4 days. You can see how recently this has been grazed. I think the cattle, today's Tuesday, and the cattle came in here Friday, so they'll be out again pretty soon. But you can see, like I was saying, that wallow hasn't repaired, but we had a rain event a couple of days ago. Look where all the rain's sitting. This reminds me of the greening the desert. You've seen those photos of, in Africa, all the locals out there digging hand digging the swales with their hose to try to stop the flow of the water and create little damp spots, and they get all this beautiful germination. And you see the photos from seasons afterwards, and they're starting to really restore the landscape. Well, when I see this, I don't get upset about a hole in the paddock. That's what I think about. I got little ponds everywhere. But if we just move a little bit to the left, here's one I prepared earlier from who knows how many rotations ago. They actually do level themselves out, but I wouldn't have seen that if it hadn't just been grazed. Can you see in the camera that used to be one. There's no water in it, but it's damp on the ground, and the feed in here is sensational. So if you want perfectly manicured paddocks, don't get pigs. A few of the things I love about pigs is it's fast turnover. You know, we can turn them off in 4 or 5 months, get them in as 8-week-old, ad-lib feed them. The genetics we get from Jason, you can just ad-lib feed them the whole way. And ad-lib feed means they've got constant access to as much feed as they want. We don't weigh it, we just give it to them all. We don't have sows, boars, gilts at the moment. We don't worry about any of that. We just give them as much feed as they want, fresh pasture every week, heaps of space. This is a bigger paddock. Got a new kid working for me, he's great. I would normally fence them in a paddock about half this. Keep him moving every week and give the rest of the paddock a bit of a rotation. I'll have a chat to him about the size, but you know, with where we are at the moment, it's not a big deal. I did say that this has had pigs continuously. I think 2 of the last 4 years have been really hot. Not the most recent 2, but the 2 before that, 2019, 2020. And so we destocked this paddock around Christmas, late November, mid-December, something like that. And we didn't put animals back in here till closer to Easter in April. Last 2 years, it's been pretty mild summer, so we haven't worried about it. We just made sure they had big wallows. But we've got another pig pasture down the back. We don't have pigs now there, but we're quite often running concurrent mobs. And that's fully in silvo pasture down there, and the pigs just love it. And so if we destock this paddock because it's too hot for them, we'll send them down the back. Takes a morning to load up 40, 50 pigs and do a few trips back and forward in the stock trailer. Here's some of the cows I've got grazing this paddock. I've got a few Jerseys and a couple Languni steers, a couple Hereford crosses. Just thought I'd show you something interesting up here because we're cover cropping behind the pigs, like I said, and the cattle have come in and chopped this, and I just thought that this was the most curious thing. You can see, oh, the trough's not working. Geez, they've busted that trough up. I'll have to address that after this video. But you can see they've come through and they've smashed all this grass. They are not interested in the beans at all. Look at that. The cows have very carefully worked their way around the beans. I've never seen that before. We've been using this same cover crop for a few years now. This is from local mob. What are they called again? Who do we get this from? Fraser Pogue. Pogue Fodders, P-O-G-U-E fodder. Organic farm. I just think it's so curious that, look at it the whole way along. I've not been interested in that at all. They're more interested in the mallow poking through the fence. Hey guys, you Jersey cows, fat as mud. There's the rest of this mob. We're bringing the mob from across the home, from across the road. We lease across the road there, and we bring them to the corner paddock, run them down the road and poke them in. This mob's about 60 head, and these guys got through the gate and started running, and I could see it happening and I couldn't stop it. The other cows turned around and ran down on the wrong side of the fence. And for the personnel we had and the time we had, it just wasn't going to happen. So we just decided to let the rest go on. We're bringing them home Thursday. We're going to join the mob up Thursday. Then we're going all the way down. I don't know if you can see it in the video, past that big old, see that dead tree in the center? Going behind that, right down the back. So anyway guys, that's me, done today. If you're enjoying the videos, or if you're watching them, if you're getting this far, drop me a thumbs up in the comments. No point filming them if no one watches them. You have a good one.